In this video, I'm going to be showing you everything you need to know about speedrunning HuniePop. From date gifts, to the upgrade system, to this really complicated formula for how affection works, since we all know affection isn't about real emotion, you'll learn all that you need to know to join the highly respected and elite community of HuniePop speedrunners. There's plenty of categories for HuniePop speedrunning, and while each plays in a very unique way, boasting different routes, different optimal date gifts and upgrades, different girls, this video is going to be going over all the information that's universal across every category. And then in future videos, I'll go over the specific routes and strategies that should be used for all of HuniePop's main speedrun categories. But first, why HuniePop? Alright, I know what you're thinking. HuniePop speedrun? Come on, man. A dating simulator with all RNG and all titties? That can't be a good speedrun. And to you I say, are you kidding me? Minecraft has way more RNG than this shit, and our game has titties! No, but seriously though, the beauty of HuniePop is in its hidden complexities. Since you can move a piece all across the board, like a rook in chess, there's many advanced tactics that can be deployed during the run. On top of that, each token type on the board is unique and interacts with the date in a different way. And date gifts can drastically change the way that you strategize. HuniePop has a surprising amount of depth to it that has kept me coming back to it for years, whether that's casually or as a speedrunner. The 3-match puzzle game genre is not one that I'm particularly fond of in general, but HuniePop's take on the genre and the aesthetic makes it very fun to play. Same can be said for the speedrun. It's surprisingly fun. So give it a chance if your first instinct is to write it off. Almost all of HuniePop comes down to your knowledge of this bad boy right here, the date grid. So I guess I'd better fill you in. So allow me to introduce you to the greatest girl of all time and the girl I'll be simping for until my death, Q. She's happily agreed to explain to you what each of the token types do. So Q, take it away.
Alright, I'll try to make this quick. This is the date grid. These little pieces are called tokens. You earn affection by matching 3 or more of the circular tokens horizontally or vertically. For a successful date, you have to fill the affection meter before you run out of moves. Each of the 4 types of affection tokens represents a particular trait. The orange ones represent romance, blue is talent, green is flirtation, and red is sexuality. Pay attention to which trait your date prefers. It'll go a long way. Of course, matching 4 or 5 tokens will get you even more affection. Oh right, let me cover the other token types real quick. The pink hearts are passion tokens. Matching those will raise your date's passion level. The higher her passion level is, the more affection you'll earn. The gold bells are joy tokens. You'll get an extra move by matching those. Very useful. The broken heart tokens are bad news. Seriously, avoid matching those as best you can. Finally, the teardrops are sentiment tokens. Matching those gives you, well, sentiment. You need sentiment in order to use date gifts. Here, I'll hook you up with one of mine. It's on the house. Alright, I've gone on long enough.
Thank you so much, darling. That would have been quite the mouthful for me to say, but clearly you're used to having your mouth full. Anyways, you just mentioned 3 ofs and 4 ofs and sentiment and passion and affection and blah blah blah, but all of it was really vague. If we really want to develop complex strategies that will help us negate as much RNG that the game will throw at us, we're gonna need to understand the science and mathematics behind anime titty Candy Crush. Bear with me, this is a lot to go through, but this is integral if we want to develop strategies beyond just match good tokens fast, lol. Here's the formula. N times n minus 2 times 1 plus L times 1 plus P divided by 4 times D all multiplied by 1.5 times C divided by 4 times W. Nobody told me dating was gonna involve this much math!
Get it together, you piece of shit! We got hot anime bitches to fuck!
Okay, let's break this down. N is gonna represent the amount of tokens in the match, and L is how many times you've upgraded the trait that corresponds with said match. So in this match, N would be 3, and if you've upgraded sexuality twice, L would be 2. P is for the current passion level, and D is for desirability. It would be 2 if the trait is desired by the girl, 0.5 if not, and 1 if she's neutral about it. The last bracket section is for charisma and power tokens, something Q didn't exactly explain. Every time you make a match, there's a chance that a power token is spawned. That chance is based around your luck stat. And power tokens, obvious by these brackets, change the affection formula. C is for your charisma level, and W is the amount of power tokens in the match. And even at just 1 power token with no charisma stat, it still gives a nice bonus to the amount of affection gained from a match. If a match has no power tokens, you can completely ignore the brackets. Now, just for fun, let's do some examples. Let's say Jimmy matches a 3 of talent and has leveled up his talent stat twice. The girl Jimmy is dating prefers talent matches, but she doesn't have a passion level yet. How much affection does Jimmy receive from this match? Feel free to try at home. Calculators are allowed, and here's the cheat sheet in case you forgot. Alright, done? Let's check it. We start by replacing the variables in the formula with the numbers given from the prompt. We set both n's to 3, L to 2, P to 0, and D to 2. We can also ignore the end brackets because there's no power tokens involved in this match. You can plug that formula straight into your favorite student-tested, teacher-approved online calculator. Or you could do it by hand, and I'll show that just in case you care. We're going to do the parentheses first. 3 minus 2 equals 1, and 1 plus 2 equals 3. Division is done before addition, so in this case, we're going to do 0 divided by 4, which is 0. Plus 1 gives us 1. Now we can solve by going 3 times 1 equals 3, 3 times 3 equals 9, 9 times 1 equals 9, and 9 times 2, which equals 18. So this match would be worth 18 points. And let's check it in game. Wow, it worked! Let's do one more, real quick, just for fun. Doug matches a 4 of sexuality on a girl that hates sexuality. Here's the rest of his stats. Here's what the formula looks like when you plug them in. And here's the result we get. Let's check it in game. Wow, easy as fuck. Throughout all of this, I'm struggling to find just one thing. Who?
What?
Who the fuck asked? Well, this formula will prove to be very useful going forward. It will help us determine the exact value of matches without having to test each and every one of them in-game. Doing so will allow us to determine optimal strategies for dates, based on numbers instead of just feeling. Remember, dating is not about feeling or emotion. It's about the numbers. And there it is. Now you know exactly the method I'm going to be using for testing matches. And if you ever want to test a match for yourself, you now have all the knowledge required to do so. Also, understanding the way the game calculates affection, I think is interesting in and of itself.
I think your passion for this is pretty interesting considering no one asked.
Passion? Did you say passion? Well, all you need to calculate passion is just the first half of this formula. You can ignore desirability, you can ignore the thing talking about your passion level, and of course, you can ignore power tokens. Just this half of the formula will show you exactly how many passion points you receive from any passion match. So, a 3 of passion without a level gives you 3 points, a 4 of passion without a level gives you 8 points, a 3 of passion with 1 level gives you 6 points, etc. But what the hell do all of these points even mean? Well, to reach the next passion level, you need to obtain a certain number of passion points. Passion level 1 takes 6 points to achieve, and passion level 2 takes 14 points to achieve. That's not 14 more points though. Your amount of passion points remains the same throughout the date. So if you make a 4 of passion to give you 8 points, that is more than the 6 required for passion level 1, but that would mean that you only need 6 more points to reach passion level 2, aka 14 points. This is very useful for knowing how many passion matches you actually need to make to increase your multiplier. Remember, passion matches that you make that don't increase your multiplier are wasted moves until your multiplier increases. Making one passion match, but staying at level 0 for the whole date, means that that move was wasted. If you're curious for how many passion points you need to make it from level to level, the formula is 6 plus 2x, where x is your current passion level. So you need 6 for level 1, plus 8 for level 2, which makes 14, plus 10, 24, etc., etc. By the way, sentiment is calculated in the exact same way. Is anybody listening? Does anybody care? Don't you just want to know what makes the pieces a pair? Good one, right?
Shut the fuck up.
At any given moment, there can only be so many of one type of token on the board. For affection tokens, these bad boys, there can only ever be 12 of each of them. The same goes for passion tokens. Sentiment's max is 10, and joy tokens and broken hearts can only ever have 8. When spawning pieces, the game throws the remaining possible options into a bag and picks one. The odds of any given piece spawning can be calculated by taking the token's max possible amount, subtracting the current amount, and then dividing by 30. since there's 86 total tokens and 56 on the board. The other 30 are just invisibly floating above, waiting to fall down. This further means that continuing to match the same token type over and over again will keep the odds of it spawning the same, but not matching a token will decrease the odds of it spawning as there's less of them to pull from the bag.
Bro, who cares? Like, can we, like, why am I here? Can we get to the anime titties already? Like, come on.
Alright then, alright, let's take a look at the girls. The most important information about the girls is their preferred token types and their least preferred token types. As we just saw, this could either double or cut in half the amount of points that you receive from any given match. Additionally, matching the good moves over and over again keeps the odds of them spawning the same. So why don't we see what they got? Belly, Momo, and Lola all prefer romance. Tiffany, Q, and Audrey all prefer flirtation. Nikki, Kiana, and Celeste all prefer talent. And Jessie, Aiko, and Venus all prefer sexuality. Keeping it going, Tiffany, Nikki, and Momo all hate sexuality. Aiko, Lola, and Q hate talent. Kiana, Audrey, and Jessie hate romance. And Venus, Celeste, and Belly hate flirtation. Each girl also has preferred gift types. And speaking of, we should probably talk about the systems outside of the date grid. First and foremost is honey and money. For every date you do, you earn money from it. The further you progress through the game and the better you perform on the date will affect the amount of money that you get from the date. The money that you earn can only be spent on a couple things: food, drinks, and gifts. A gift can be given to a girl if she likes that type of gift, and in return, you'll receive honey equal to the amount of money that you spent on that gift. You also receive honey from talking to girls. You get honey for going up and talking to them in the first place, and then even more if you succeed the talk to woman check. The girl will either ask you a question, in which case there's only one right answer, or you will have to ask her a question, in which case you have to ask them a question you haven't already asked them. To note, you do receive more honey from answering their questions than you do from asking them questions. However, talking makes the beast hungry, and at 0 food bar, you can't do anything with them anymore. You can't go on dates, you can't give them gifts, and you can't talk to them.
Check the appetite meter. See anything that might, I don't know, be an issue?
Talking drains the food bar twice. However, you only need one to give them gifts or to initiate a date. Like I said earlier though, you can buy food, which gives them food bars equivalent to the amount of money you spent on the food divided by 100. Finally, the blue bar down there is the drunk meter. At certain times of day and at certain locations, certain girls will accept drinks. Each girl's alcohol tolerance is different, so some girls will find it much easier to get hammered.
Sure. Wow. Okay, that was pretty strong.
Than some others.
Be not so. I know. Be warned. I'm no lightweight.
The benefit of getting a girl drunk is twofold. At the start of the date, you can get up to 6 bonus sentiment depending on how tipsy a girl is. And the more drunk a girl is, the more honey you receive from talking to and giving them gifts. At 0, so fully sober, you get a 1x multiplier, so nothing. But at 1 drunk bar, you get 1.1x. At 10, you get 2x. And at max 12, you get 2.2x. This can be a great way to increase the amount of honey you received if you really need a lot of it. Speaking of, what the fuck is honey? Well, honey is very useful as it allows you to purchase upgrades. Starting off, you can upgrade each of the 4 main affection tokens. Each of these upgrades increases the amount of points you receive by 100%. So at level 1, a 100% increase, at level 2, a 200% increase, etc. You can also upgrade passion to do the exact same thing, as well as increasing the max passion level that you can reach. Sensitivity decreases the effectiveness of broken hearts, but for most categories, we completely ignore this. Charisma and luck affects power tokens. Charisma will increase their effectiveness, and luck will make them appear more often. This can be nice occasionally, but for the most part, the main upgrades that we're going to be buying are the affection ones and passion. Now let's take one last look at each of the girls and give you a little bit more info about them.
First up is Tiffany, a cute schoolgirl who isn't afraid to mess around. Tiffany loves flirtation and absolutely hates sexuality. She likes scuba gifts and rave gifts, and she loves academy ones. It's going to cost you 1,200 money to get Tiffany fully drunk. Aiko is a casino addict who is somehow a physics professor. She loves sexuality and hates talent. Insert teacher joke here. For gifts, Aiko likes artist, garden, and loves toys. Oh yeah, those too. It's gonna cost you a whole 1,600 money to get this sexy teacher drunk. Kiana's coming in next, and my god, she's got some tits to kill for. Kiana is a big fan of talent, but she doesn't much care for romance. Her favorite gift types include dance, yoga, and she loves fitness. Fitness dick, it only takes 900 money to get her drunk. Next up, we've got Audrey, a red-headed tsundere who...
Well, technically, if we go by the definition of tsundere, Audrey technically doesn't fit into the exact quality.
Audrey's a girl who loves flirtation, but absolutely hates romance. She likes toys, aquarium, and loves rave gifts. Drinks for 1,600 money. Who's that flying down next? That's Lola Rembright. Lola is a big fan of romantics, but doesn't really care if you don't have a lot of talent. Lola likes baking, scuba, and loves sports. You know how outdoorsy she can be. An average 1,200 money to get her drunk. Can you see her hiding in that corner over there? It's Nikki and Marie. Nikki is an anxiety-filled gamer scared of people. Remind you of someone? Nikki is really into talented guys and doesn't really care about sexuality. Nikki likes aquarium and academy gifts. Along with that, she loves artist gifts. Who would have guessed that the girl with blue hair was an art hoe? You've seen her before, but never by this name. Next, we've got Jessie May. Jessie is an obvious fan of sexuality, but doesn't really care about romance. Jessie likes the fitness and dancer gifts, but loves baking. Spiritually free, Belly likes romance tokens and hates flirtation. She likes gardening and sports, but loves to do her yoga. She's even a yoga instructor, meaning there's at least one qualified teacher in the group. This closet freak only takes 900 money to get fully drunk. Here to help us all and the girl I will never not love, it's Q. Q is a big fan of flirtation tokens, but hates talent. She likes artist and rave gifts and loves to dance. To get this fairy drunk, you're gonna need 1,200 money worth of drinks.
Bro, dude, I told you, she's over 18. Didn't you look at the math for the game? It's technically in June, and if you do the math, that makes Momo actually 20 years old. She's 2.5 cat years. That makes 20 years, mate. I swear she's over 18, dude. Please.
Romance good, sexuality bad. Toys, sports, and fishies are yay! If you want to roleplay as Alinity, you're gonna need 900 money to get her drunk. The alien bounty hunter, Celeste, likes talent and hates flirtation. She likes academy and fitness gifts, but scuba ones remind her of home. It costs 1,600 money to get this alien drunk. Venus, the goddess of love, needs sex and has no time to flirt. Venus likes to bake, do yoga, but loves tending the garden. It's gonna take all the alcohol on Earth to get a goddess drunk.
Phew, jeez, did you get all that? Because it's gonna be on the test. Listen, I understand that was a lot of information, but if you're interested in running the longer categories for this game, almost all of that information is gonna be required to know. Anyways though, can we get back to the date grid, please? Yo! So you might have noticed while explaining the girls, I mentioned that they love certain gift types. You might not be sure exactly what that means. Well, when you give a girl a gift that she loves, indicated by the heart and the honeybee, you get a little something in return, a gift for yourself. Inside that gift is one of 38 special date gifts. Once equipped, these date gifts can be used during dates, each with a unique effect. This is what Sentiment was all for. Remember the stuffed bear from the intro? These date gifts can be very useful depending on the run that you're doing. That being said, I'll save what specific date gifts you should use and how to use them for videos talking about specific runs that they're useful in. However, every run you get that stuffed bear from Q in the intro. This is a great starting date gift and is always useful, no matter the run. Maybe it's not useful the entire run, but still, it's a great starting item. Okay, at this point, we're so close to greatness. But before we get to have sex with anime girls, we need to talk about time travel. You see, each HuniePop day consists of 4 phases. The morning phase, the afternoon phase, the evening phase, and the night phase. Whenever you travel from girl to girl, the game moves forward one of these phases. Note that dates themselves do not affect the passage of time. Only visiting a new girl will. After the night phase, the game moves forward a day in the week and resets to morning. Each girl has a schedule for when they are and aren't available.
For example, all day Sunday, Lola is out of town because she's a flight attendant.
Tiffany is asleep Sunday nights because of school the next day, etc, 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 etc. Mostly. Day and time affects other things as well. For example, you can only date a girl once each day. And last but certainly not least, time of day also affects when you can fug, as night dates are the only ones that can initiate this sex minigame. And now that we know how time works, we can begin to understand the process of how to skip through it. You see, one phase takes about 12 seconds, timing from when you first click to visit a new girl till the next available moment you can click to visit another girl. We could hypothetically just get laid with any girl by going on a date with them and then continuously going back and forth between other random girls until eventually we've gone on 3 dates and it's night 4 and we can finally do our last date and then finally do sex. And yeah, eventually we'll finish it. But we can do better. You see, when you're first introduced to a girl, the events of when and where you meet them are completely scripted. Where they are, who they're talking to, and most importantly, what time of day it is. So let's say you're enjoying a nice morning walk with Belly, but you decide you want to go introduce yourself to Nikki. Time will fast forward and you'll find yourself at Lusty's nightclub in the middle of the night, completely having skipped the afternoon and evening. So, if we factor in every girl's scripted intro scene, what time they're available, and when and who you might be wanting to buy gifts for, the optimal route for whatever you're trying to speedrun will completely change. Doing all this will not only make sure that you achieve the category's objective, but also do it in the least amount of phases possible and with the most optimal girls and upgrades. There's one more thing I need to talk about before I discuss the strategies and practice methods for having sex really fast. But trust me, you'll want to hear this. Most games have text, dialogue of some kind, and HuniePop is no different.
Hello? Is anybody home?
These bitches just don't shut the fuck up. There's plenty of text that we have to skip through as HuniePop players, and just clicking through it with a mouse is pain. So, we allow runners to rebind left click to any keyboard, mouse, or controller function that they want. This will not only make mashing more comfortable, but also greatly increase the speed at which you can get through text. The game wouldn't be nearly as fun or as popular without these rules, so we have them. Macros, however, are never allowed. You still have to be mashing with your human hands, since there is a mashing speed at which only robots could obtain. We do want to keep things as humanly integral as we can. Of course, this is speedrunning, and it's all arbitrary, and it means nothing, and every speed game is different, and you should be determined by the community for that game, and this is just what we, the HuniePop community, have said as our rules. Now, what a more important question that you may be asking is, how do we do this? Well, back in the old days, we used to use programs like AutoHotkey or JoyToKey to do this, but we've evolved. Since my last How to Speedrun HuniePop video, the greatest thing probably to ever happen to HuniePop speedrunning was developed and released: the Speedrun mod. The Speedrun mod, built almost entirely by Barazu, built off of Lounger's original Honey mod, along with a little help from R Shields, is amazing. It has a built-in reset button, so you don't have to constantly be closing and reopening the game and have all your friends on Steam wondering why the hell you're launching HuniePop for the 50,000th time. It allows you to turn off VSync, allowing you to reach 144 FPS even without a 144 Hz monitor. And of course, built-in functions to rebind mouse 1 to anything and everything you want. Also, it can fully censor your game, so you don't have to worry about adding in black boxes just so that you can upload your run to YouTube. And on top of all of that, it has a built-in in-game timer linked to an auto splitter. All of that's just what you can use in real runs. I can't leave out cheat mode though. Remember, this is highly illegal activity, but it can really help you practice the game. I'll refer to most of the cheat mode information later on when it's relevant, whether in this video or others. If you want to know everything the mod can do and how to install it, join our Discord server. You can find and download it in our Patches, Mods, and Autosplit Discord channel. And please, 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 for the love of God, read the README. If any of you out there join the Discord server and start talking about, oh, how do I do this? Or, oh, the mod's broken, it doesn't do this, and the answer to your problem is clearly written in the document that literally says README, you're banned. Remember, of course, we do welcome all newcomers and any questions you might have in the Discord server, but please do your due diligence and read the README. The majority of HuniePop speedrunning comes down to being a 5-head. You've got to pick the right move as quickly as possible during the dates. However, this action can't be done by a quadriplegic. You still need some control over your stick if you want to have sex with the anime ladies. Solid reaction time and mouse control are essential skills for playing this game at a high level. Reaction time is important because it affects how quickly you can take in all the information on the board, as well as how quickly you make the move that your brain tells you to make. A big part of speedrunning is cutting down on some of these little time losses, and having a faster reaction time greatly helps you do that. Mouse control, on the other hand, is your ability to move the mouse from wherever it is to wherever you want it to go. If you want to make this romance match right here, you should be able to do it like this. If instead you move the piece too slowly to be careful, you're going to be losing time. And if you move the piece way too fast and miss, well, you're going to lose time. Having optimal control over the tokens during the dates with your mouse is crucial. And if you want to improve both, you can do so using an aim trainer. Kovacs 2.0 is $10, but well worth the price. However, AimLab is free and has gotten significantly better since the last time I talked about it, thanks to the introduction of the workshop.
In either game, you're going to want to play one wall 6 targets and one wall 2 targets small flicks to increase your mouse control, and one wall 1 target to increase your reaction time.
Jesus, with all that foreplay done, we can now finally start to seduce these anime ladies with our sexy puzzle skills. Straight away, the first thing that we have to do every run, no matter what, is the intro date. This may seem pretty simple, but there's this neat little thing that we discovered way back when that drastically changes this date.
So the first thing Q asks you to do every run during this intro date is to make a simple 3 of romance match right there in the middle of the screen. However, instead of making this match like normal, we're going to instead drag this broken heart through the romance tokens, remember this for later so I can blow your fucking mind, and place it exactly here. The next 2 moves are simple enough. Match these sexuality tokens when Q tells you to, and match these sentiment tokens when Q tells you to. Then, we get the stuffed bear.
Sent straight from the gods themselves.
The stuffed bear, for the price of 6 sentiment, turns every broken heart into a passion token, and is a fantastic date gift. Q wants us to use it right away, so go ahead. But look, pay attention to that broken heart that we moved just a second ago.
Ta-da! Look at her now, all grown up.
Boom! A 5 of passion. But hey, we ain't done yet. Right after that, boom! A 5 of flirtation.
Which, if you remember, gives us a 2 times bonus.
After that 5 of flirtation, you'll only need a few more moves to finish the date, so just try and make affection matches as quick as you can. Remembering that Q likes the green ones, hates the blue ones, and feels neutral about orange and red.
And the red. Boom!
A 5 of passion. But hey, we ain't done yet. Right after that, boom! A 6 of green. Matching this only leaves you with 2 or 3 matches needed after it, making it much faster. However, this 6 green token only appears around 40% of the time. But sometimes you might be able to match some tokens above the 5 of green to help that 6th green token to come out of its hidey hole. So always be on the lookout for that. Otherwise, you'll just have to take that 5 of flirtation and do the rest like normal.
Here's a little tip for you.
After the 6 of green, that talent move, this sexuality move, this romance move are common on the grid. Be ready to match those afterwards for a quick follow-up.
After the intro date, we get out into the big, beautiful, luscious,
Voluptuous,
soft,
beckoning.
infatuating world.
Yeah, the world.
In this world, each date is very different, completely different every time. So crazy setups like this won't work every time. We're gonna have to fend for ourselves out here. If you wanna win these dates, and you wanna win them fast, every move you make is gonna have one of 2 purposes. Let's talk about the first one here, a simple match. Simple moves are just that, pre-made moves on the board matched for one purpose and one purpose only. A pre-made move is one that's on the board already and requires no setup moves to make it happen. So, if you match this 4 of passion with the intention of raising your passion level, that's a simple match. You must be able to recognize these pre-made moves quickly if you want to go fast. So why don't we take a look at all the patterns that pre-made moves can come in.
What's up, you guys? Hope you're enjoying the video so far. Live Garrett coming at you here to explain to you simple matches and the patterns that they come in. Gonna break away from editing and post Garrett for a moment here just because I think that I could explain it a little bit better live than I could in the editing software. So let's take a look at our board right now and look at the simple 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the crazy big matches that can appear. What are these simple pre-made moves and patterns that you should look out for on the grid? So the first pattern we're going to take a look at is this 3-match pre-made move right here on the board. They could be matched simply by dragging the token 1 over. That's obvious. But of course, even if this token wasn't here or this token wasn't here, and our board potentially looked like this, we could always just drag this token over or drag this token over here to make the 3 of match just like that. Of course, that 3 of pre-made can also come in the horizontal version as well as the vertical version. The horizontal version looks just like this. We've got the top version and the bottom version. Of course, they don't have to be right next to each other. We could drag them all the way or just drag them 1 move over. Here's our second kind of 3-match pre-made move.
we've got this spaced out together, pre-made, instead of the ones close together, and you would have to put a token in the middle right here. And we could do that from far away like this, or right next to each other, both from the right or from the left. Of course, this version also comes in the horizontal and vertical form as well. Here's what the horizontal form looks like. Of course, we just have to put a token right there. Oh, or put a token. Fuck. The next thing we're going to look at is patterns for the 4-of-a-kind pre-mates, which look exactly like this on the board right now. You could have the empty space being here or the empty space being here. All we would have to do is fill in the token here or fill in the token here with something like this, or it could even be right next to it like that. Of course, they could also come in the horizontal version as well. Right now, we would just have to fill in the token here or here. And finally, the last way that we can make a 4-match is with this pattern right here on the board. All we would have to do is drag this center token out to the left or to the right, and would combine the 4 tokens together into one 4-of. Don't forget, that pattern can also come in the vertical version as well. Moving on to 5-of-a-kinds, here's the first of several different ways to match a 5-of-a-kind. Right now, this is the dick pattern, as I like to call it. We've got the balls right here, the shaft right here, and all we would have to do is connect them together with one token right in the middle there. Like with everything, this can be vertical or horizontal, as you see right there. Next up, we've got the angled 5-of, just by combining these 2 tokens with one right there in the middle, like what this token would be able to do. Here's another look at 2 of the different ways that the angled pre-made could come in. We could fill in the token right here using this one down, or we could fill in the token right here using this one across. What's on the board now is the last pattern that 5-of-a-kind pre-mates can come in. This is very similar to the 4-of pre-mates that we saw where we dragged the middle token out. However, now if we fill the middle token with something, that's 5 tokens instead of just 4. We can do that with this vertical one by dragging this one all the way over, or creating a token right here and dragging that in the middle of these 4 to make it 5. Now when it comes to 6-of-a-kinds, barring some very unusual circumstances with glitching out the stuffed bear and creating some weird patterns on the board, the only way that 6-of-a-kinds can come in is similar to an angled 5-of-a-kind, except for you need an additional token next to it like this, and then another token to be dragged in and placed right there. For example, one right here dragged over would combine all of those tokens into a 6-of. The same can be said for 7-of-a-kinds. We would need an additional green token right here to drag this one on the right into the middle to create a 7-of-a-kind. Of course, this pattern could be like this or rotated any direction. It doesn't have to look exactly like that. And of course, I'm sure some of you may be asking, oh, well, what if we added an 8th token? Would we be able to match an 8-of? And the answer to that question is maybe, maybe not. I could make an entire video on the topic of 8-ofs and the biggest match in HuniePop, but basically all you need to know is this. 1, you're never going to see one in game, so it doesn't matter anyways. 2, the date grid ain't very good at registering matches, and sometimes when you have an 8-of pattern on your board, which I've only ever seen in testing like this, the game just doesn't match it. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Maybe, maybe not. Alright, so just for example, I have the elusive 8-of pattern on the board, and we're going to see if the game lets me do it. So we're going to drag the middle token out to make 7, and then boom, it doesn't work. It wants to make a 4-of instead of the 5-of. Let's try the other direction. Oh, that one doesn't work either. Let's try another direction. That one doesn't work either. Let's try another direction. It really doesn't like that one either. Let's try dragging it off and letting it come back. Ooh, that doesn't work. And doing the same sort of little like draggy release something, it doesn't work for any of them. It just doesn't want to match it. And even there, the game did some more weird things. Let's try one more time. So after looking at this 8-of, this one doesn't work, this one doesn't work, this one doesn't work, that one doesn't work. However, dragging this one out and letting it come back, boom! An 8-of-a-kind. Why? I don't fucking know. I have no idea. I'll be honest, I don't know. Will an 8-of work for you? Maybe, maybe not. Simple match recognition is the basis for all skill in HuniePop. From Get Laid Easy to All Panties Hard, you need good simple match recognition. That doesn't just mean knowing what these patterns look like, but being able to recognize them in the moment quickly. The worst thing you can do is be looking for a move that you know you need and not being able to find it, especially if it's on your board. Now, if we look beyond pre-made matches, there's 2 advanced techniques that we can use to manipulate the date grid. We've got setup moves and moving to match. Setup moves are simple. You make one pre-made move that creates another pre-made move. Something simple like this.
Beautiful.
Moving to match isn't that crazy complicated either, but putting it into practice can create a lot of complex strategy. Did you know you've actually already done moving to match before? Remember back in the intro date?
Flashback.
Through the romance tokens, remember this for later so I can blow your fucking mind, and place it exactly here.
End of flashback.
That right there was moving to match. Your mind is now blown. A side effect of the game allowing you to move tokens all across the board is that other tokens need to be pushed into place. And for a move to be valid in HuniePop, you don't have to be making a match directly. As long as the move you're trying to make has a match in it, the game will allow it. This may sound simple, but putting it into practice can be tricky. There's no one-size-fits-all way to practice this. But when necessary, I'll discuss it a bit more in depth for the categories that it really matters in. But until then, try to keep it in the back of your mind and use it whenever you can. The main thing to look out for is pre-mades that look like this, as you can drag any token behind it, in front of it, and it will make it a match. I hate to sound like those guys that knock at your door, but we kinda have to talk about our Lord and Savior, RNGesus. Sadly, yes, the tokens that fall from the top of the screen are completely random. But is this really even that bad? Does this really mean that our runs and our skill level is completely pointless, all because of RNG? No, it doesn't. Of course, RNG does play a big role in the game. Sometimes you get screwed by date gifts, sometimes broken hearts. But we need to do our best never to blame RNG. You can always play better, learn from your mistakes, and be a better runner for next time. The board follows rules. There are many different moves to choose from, and being able to properly analyze the entire grid and choose a good move will drastically increase your speed and consistency despite any RNG. For every category, there's a time that you can be achieving every single run, and if you aren't achieving this, then it's 100% a skill difference. Beyond that, almost every run or date you'll ever have, you made a mistake. If you refuse to learn from your past and always blame RNG, you will never improve as a runner and will never truly succeed at the game. Grinding runs over and over and hoping for god luck can lead to a PB eventually, but there is so much you could be doing to practice and improve yourself, rather than just hoping for a god run. Even if you got the god RNG anyways, who's to say you'd even make the right moves? Focus on your abilities first, your reaction time, your mouse control, your simple match recognition, and your advanced date grid manipulation. And of course beyond that, every category specific skill. I wasn't kidding when I said Minecraft had way more RNG than this game. Taking in a board of pieces and finding the best move as quickly as you can isn't as RNG dependent as you might be inclined to believe it is.
Furthermore, I'd go as far as to say as the RNG makes our speedrun better. Every single run and every single date will be different than the last. I think HuniePop has a perfect balance between RNG and skill. There's always something you could do better. There's always improvements to be made, meaning there will always be a new challenge for you to overcome as a runner. The game will stay fresh, new, and exciting forever, because every date, every run is completely different.
Thanks so much for watching this video. Hope you learned something about this titty game that you didn't know before. I'm going to be releasing videos in the future for every important category that this game has to offer, and maybe even HuniePop 2 someday. So look forward to that. See you around. Watch one of the bloops! Give me money on Patreon! Watch one of the bloops! Click it! Please click it! Please click the bloops! I need you to click the bloops! Good? We did it! Andrew, we did it! That was so clutch, dude.